let me scroll back up to where we had our cost. We're going to add 2 loops here. The first one will be for I in range. And then how far do we want to go? We want to go across all the theta values. So it's going to be nr underscore thetas between the parentheses. And then colon. And then we're going to do the same thing for our second loop. We're going to say for j in range, parentheses nr underscore thetas, colon. Now, what do we want to do inside the loop? Let's do something very unimaginative first. Let's print out all the values that we have inside our plot underscore t0 variable. And we're going to print them out one by one. So we're going to have plot underscore t0, square brackets, and now we have a choice. We can go row by column or column by row. So if we go by column, then we'd have I in the first set of square brackets, and then j in the second set of square brackets. Let's see what happens. There we go. This is us printing out 25 values, the 25 values that are stored inside our theta matrix, our theta 5 by 5 array. The other way, say j and I, our output would look like this. In this case, we're staying in the same column, namely the first one, and we're looking at all the first elements. If we have I and then j, then we're doing one row at a time. So this is the first element in the row, this is the second element in the row, this is the third one, this is the fourth one, this is the fifth one, and then this is the first element in the second row. On the other hand, if we have j and then I, then we would be looking at the first element in the first row, the first element in the second row, the first element in the third row, and so on. So the order in which we supply the indices here to our two-dimensional array, it matters in the sense that it determines in which order our loop will go through the array. But regardless in which order you go through, you still hit up all the values. So I'm going to comment this out, and now I'm going to write the code to calculate our estimated y values. So y hat is equal to the first value in our theta 0 array. So it's going to be plot underscore t0, square brackets, say I, and then square brackets j. So this is going to be our first t0 value. And we're going to add plot underscore t1, square brackets I, square brackets j, times x underscore 5. So this is going to calculate our predicted y values for the first set of theta parameters. And then what we're going to say is we're going to say that the plot underscore cost matrix is going to update. And it's going to update in the same position. It's going to be updating in square brackets I, square brackets j, and it's going to be equal to the output from our lovely mean squared error function. So MSE parentheses y underscore 5, and then comma y underscore hat. So we're going to calculate our y hat value for these theta parameters. And then based on that, we're going to calculate our mean squared error, and we're going to update our two-dimensional cost array. And we're going to do that for all of the theta values so we can plot them later on. So there's a lot of calculations going on here, but there's only 4 lines of code. This is very, very terse, but very powerful at the same time. Let's take a look at what the plot underscore cost variable actually looks like after the loop has run. Let's take a look. I'm going to hit Shift Enter. And here we see that it is a 5 by 5 matrix. I can prove this even though it's hard to see because of the lines wrapping. If I say plot underscore cost dot shape. You can see here it's 5 by 5, and we can see that for each element, we've got a mean squared error for a particular combination of thetas. Let's print this stuff out so that we can verify what's going on when we make changes later on. So I'm going to say print, and then the string shape of plot underscore t0, comma, plot underscore t0 dot shape. Then I'm going to copy this print statement, paste it 2 more times, and in the second one I'm going to change it to t1, and in the third one I'm going to change it to plot underscore cost. So this is printing out the dimensions of all the 3 arrays that we're using. And at the moment, they're all 5 by 5. Good stuff. Now it's time to throw this stuff up onto a chart. A 3D chart, no less. Let's take a look. I'm going to add a comment in this new cell. Plotting mean squared error. And I'm going to do our old trick with the figure. I'm going to say fig is equal to plt dot figure, parentheses, fig size equals square brackets, say 16 by 12. And then I've got some axes that I've got to create. So it's going to be fig dot GCA, get current axes. And it's going to be for a 3D projection. So projection equals, and then the string 3D, lowercase d. And our chart's going to have 3 axes. It's going to have a Y label, an X label, and a Z label. So I'm going to say AX dot set underscore X label, parentheses, and then the string theta 0. So theta 0 is going to be on our x-axis, and it's going to be at font size, say 20. I'm going to copy that whole line, paste it 2 more times, and then I'm going to make some changes. The second one is going to set the Y label. The third one is going to set the Z label. And then the string is going to be updated to theta 1. And then for the Z-axis, this is going to be, it's going to be our cost, right? Cost hyphen MSE. So we've created our plot, set the size of our figure, then we've grabbed our axis object from our figure, we've set some of the attributes of the axes using the set underscore X label, set underscore Y label, and set underscore Z label functions. Now we do the best part. AX dot plot underscore surface. And inside the parentheses, we have to supply 3 2-dimensional arrays. The first one was going to be our theta 0. So this is on our x-axis. The second one is going to be plot underscore t1. And this is going to be for our y-axis. And then the third one is going to be the cost that we calculated in our nested loop. So plot underscore cost. And finally, we're going to say plt dot show with some parentheses at the end. Now we should be able to get a visualization of all that work we just did. And before I hit Shift Enter, let me just quickly check the code that I've written to see if I've made any typos. I'm spotting one of them here. In setting the figure, we got to use our matplotlib object, which is plt.figure, not plot.figure. So plt was our matplotlib object, and plt.figure grabs our figure object. I think we're good now. So let me hit Shift Enter and see what this looks like. Voila. It looks like so. Now I realize this might be a little bit underwhelming, and it looks like a video game from the 1990s. This is, I think, the kind of graphics they had. But we can change this very, very easily. If I scroll back up and I increase the number of data points we're using from 5 to, say, 200, and I update this cell, then we're going to generate a lot more theta zeros and a lot more theta ones with our linspace function. As such, when I hit Shift Enter on this cell, I can see that we're now dealing with a 200 by 200 array. So a lot more data points that we're plotting now. And when I replot our surface by hitting Shift Enter here to update this cell, then it will look something like this. Brilliant. How are you liking the navy blue? I think we gotta add a splash of color to this to make it a bit more interesting. I'm gonna go back up to my plot surface function, and I'm gonna make use of this color map that we imported earlier. So it's gonna be an extra argument I'm gonna supply here, CMap, and it's gonna be set equal to our CM module, put a dot after it, and then I'm gonna use hot and hit Shift Enter. Bam. Now this is starting to look pretty good. And I personally think this surface doesn't just look hot. You could say it almost looks
super hot.
But before I lose you to this video game, let's compare our function and our calculations to our regression estimates. Because we can actually pull out the lowest mean squared error from our plot variable, right? So if I come down here and I write print and then write min value of plot underscore cost, comma, plot underscore cost dot min, and then some parentheses, I can actually pull out the lowest mean squared error from our surface plot that we just used for graphing. And that is 0.94838. But hold on, I hear you say. What are the theta 0 and theta 1 values associated with that cost that we just pulled out? I mean, after all, we care about our parameter values, right? So how can we grab the row and the column indices which correspond to this minimum cost? And for that, NumPy has you covered. It's got a function called unravel index. So I'm going to say ij underscore min is equal to np dot unravel underscore index. And it needs two inputs. It needs the indices, and that's going to be equal to plot underscore cost dot, and then arg min. So this will output the indices from our 2D array where the mean squared error is at its lowest. And then we have a comma afterwards, and we supply that second input to the unravel index function. And that's the dimensions, dims, of the 2D array that we are supplying. So we can say dims is equal to plot underscore cost dot shape. And this will give us the row and the column index. Let's print this out. So print, say min occurs at I, comma, j, colon, comma, ij underscore min. So the minimum occurs at the 111th row and 91st column. So this is where, after running that nested for loop, the mean squared error was the lowest. The theta 0 value associated with row number 111 and column 91 is as follows. Print min MSE for theta 0 at plot underscore T0 square brackets 111 square brackets 91 is plot underscore T0 square brackets 111 and then square brackets 91. Hitting Shift Enter, we can see that this is fiendishly close to what the scikit-learn package calculated. Now, of course, using a nested for loop is not better. It's very much a brute force method, but I kind of wanted to show you how you can use these 2D arrays and how you can work with them and how you can access particular values using the row and the column indices. So let's do that one more time, but this time we'll grab the theta 1 value just for good measure. So it'll be print, And then min MSE for theta 1 at plot underscore t1 square brackets 111 square brackets 91 comma plot underscore t1 square brackets 111 square brackets 91. So this should be close to 1.2. Let's take a look. And it is. It's 1.23. Brilliant. Now all that's left to do is run our gradient descent algorithm on this cost function. And then we've come full circle. I'll see you in the next lesson. Super Hot is actually one of the most interesting games I've played recently, by the way. So I just had to mention it. It's this first-person shooter, but with a twist. Time only moves forward when you move. And there's no music, it's just the sound effect of glass shattering all the time. That's it. So yeah, if you're curious, check it out on Steam if you want to break from programming. I do hope you give Super Hot a try and let me know what you think. Just don't do what I did and play it really late at night, because if you're anything like me, you'll get too excited and you'll have trouble sleeping. So yeah, take care.